So we think about markets last month, I mean, it's really been the same theme all year. The market's trying to really figure out what this path back to normal is, how fast we get there, where that happens sooner, but importantly, how sustained that recovery is going to be as well. And that has a big impact on how markets generally position. So in April, we saw markets up 4%, so really sustaining the market rally that we have seen for some time now. And year to date, markets are up another 9%, which is quite a phenomenal level to build a base from. Under the covers, we saw growth stocks doing better than their value peers, so rising or outperforming by about 3%. And that's really because the market was starting to focus back on some of the earnings that we actually saw. So earnings season, particularly in the US, was a focus in April, and we really saw some pretty big earnings surprises. So before earnings season, the market was expecting around a 20% uplift in earnings, and it's looking like we're going to settle somewhere around 44%. That's the current expectation. So about a 24% earnings surprise, greater than what the market was expecting. What's the focus right now? The focus is really back on where are we going to see greater acceleration, but also from some of the stocks that actually had tailwinds from COVID, where will we see greater deceleration? And there was a couple of great examples that we actually had in April, one being Netflix, which actually disappointed, so having around 4 million new subscribers versus the 6 million expectation. But then on the flip side of that, we had some companies that were COVID beneficiaries actually continuing to accelerate. So Shopify being a great example, with revenues growing another 110% for the quarter year over year, but then Amazon as well, so all three of their key businesses doing exceptionally well. And that really highlights right now that it's very important to be stock specific, not just to buy into any one COVID on or COVID off stock. It's really about trying to pick from here. So stock picking is very important. Who will be the winners and continue to grow from here. So if we're thinking forward from here, we really have to highlight that there are so many uncertainties around, where markets trade from here, but also how we get back to what we keep calling this new normal. So we're really thinking right now around the resurgence in parts of the world of the virus, what that means for positioning across developed versus emerging markets. We're also starting to think around domestic versus global recoveries. So we're starting to get this narrative around things like the Chinese vaccine, for example, only being around 50% efficacious versus the mutated strains. What do all these types of developments mean for how we unlock, whether it's more travel bubble dependent or whether we can actually see a synchronized global recovery? These are all things we don't know yet, but things we're really trying to be focused on and are driving our more neutral balance in terms of how we're positioning in portfolios.